Greetings, YouTube visitors. What are you learning today that will help you better serve God? We're going to talk today about fear. We all have fears that we confront, that we face. And I want to talk to you a little bit about the fear of change. Change. You know, you could be afraid of change when it comes to getting to work. You know, let's say you travel to work a certain way. You take a certain road every day. You're afraid to change direction. Don't be, because by changing direction, you may actually get to work faster and more economically. You might actually save money and gas by rerouting your way to work. You know, that's just one simple example. Another thing would be the foods that we eat. Some of us, we eat the same thing every week. You know, we'll have eggs for breakfast, eggs and bacon, let's say, or a piece of toast, or we'll have a bagel with cream cheese on it, or we'll have coffee. We never change our drinks. Instead of having coffee, maybe have some orange juice or tea. You know, I know my father-in-law, my late father-in-law, he got in the habit of eating certain foods. He wouldn't try things that he had never tried before. I don't think that's a good thing. We miss out on a lot of ethnic foods that are very delicious by not trying things. I mean, how do you know you don't like something unless you try it, right? Well, he lived to be 94, so I can't really fault him totally. He had a very strict way of eating, and he chewed his food very slow, something I don't do and a lot of other people don't do. We just kind of inhale it, you know. But he chewed his food very slow, and so God bless him. I think he's in heaven today. But that's one thing that sometimes we're afraid to try new things. We're afraid of change in our diet, what we eat. Who was it? Henry Ford, who said, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. All right? So don't be afraid to try something new. Try something different. So, we talk about food. We talk about change in our direction. What else? What are you afraid of specifically? You're afraid perhaps, well, we're talking about change now. Change in food, change in diet. How about change in relationships? Yeah. We have a certain circle of friends, don't we? That we feel comfortable being around because we have the same values. We think the way each other, we think the same. We're afraid to actually venture out and meet new people and build new relationships. I think that's a bad thing. I think you need to go out and constantly meet new people. Because eventually, as you get older, your old friends die off. And you're going to be left with fewer and fewer friends. As you get older, you'll find out that what I'm saying is true. So, you need to not be afraid of building new relationships. Don't be afraid to change your existing friends. Keep the friends that you have, but build on them, in other words, is what I'm saying. In fact, go back and rekindle some of your old friendships and acquaintances. Just this last week when I was on vacation, I saw several friends that I hadn't seen for years. One since high school and one since before I went to Hollywood to pursue acting. And I was glad I actually got reacquainted with these individuals. So don't be afraid to rekindle relationships, okay? I was just looking at this article here, and it talks about how many fear change because they feel out of control or out of their comfort zones. You know? We get comfortable being in our comfort zones, don't we? A friend of mine says, you got to be, how did he put it? You got to be comfortable being uncomfortable. I think that's the way he put it. So sometimes that can be really challenging, and it sparks our growth to be uncomfortable, to do things out of our comfort zone, to stretch. You know, suppose you're working out at the gym and you're just doing the same exercises all the time. Don't be afraid to change your regime, your schedule, your exercise program, you know. There are different ways to build your arms, for example, not just by curls or tricep pull downs. There's other ways to build your chest muscles. You can do push-ups. You can do bench press. You can do inclines to develop the different parts of your chest. Legs, squats, there's the basic exercises, but there are different exercises that work your muscles from a different angle. So don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid of changing bad habits. We all have bad habits, don't we? And sometimes we're actually afraid to change these habits. When changing these habits will actually help you progress in life. You see, every successful person has had to overcome his or her bad habits. So think about what some of your bad habits are and then change them. Maybe it's getting up late instead of getting up early. Change it. Okay? If you don't like the fact that you're tired, then change your sleeping habits. If you don't like some of your friends, change them. If you don't like where you live, change it. You can move. You're not stuck where you are. You're not a tree, as the late Jim Rohn said. You're not a tree that's stuck, that's planted in one area and you can't do anything else but just stay and grow in that one area. No, you can move anywhere. As of right now, we have that freedom in this country. Thank the Lord. So you can actually move where opportunities arise, where you can grow, where you can make the most money, where you can develop yourself spiritually, mentally. Don't be afraid to change your milieu or your environment where you live. Okay? We're going to make this kind of short today, this video. But I hope this gets you thinking about change. God has not given us the spirit of fear. There's a lot of verses that deal with fear. Fear has been labeled as false evidence appearing real. F-E-A-R. False evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. So, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of failure. That's another subject, but I remember the late, he's still alive, but I remember when I was studying sales training years ago, Tommy Hopkins said in one of his books, I don't see failure as failure, but only as a learning experience. Or I don't see failure as failure, but only as an opportunity to improve my sense of humor. It's all about your attitude, isn't it? And it was Franklin Roosevelt, I think, who said, we have nothing to fear but fear itself. We have nothing to fear but fear itself. So get rid of some of your fears. Perfect love casts out fear. I like that Bible verse. Don't know where it's at right now. It came to my mind just now. Perfect love casts out fear. And here's another thing I learned. Fear moves away from the object that it fears, whereas love moves toward the object. Isn't that amazing? When you love people, you move toward them. You want to get to know them better. You want a stronger connection, or a stronger relationship. But when you fear somebody, you want to stay far away from those people. When you fear an animal, you want to stay far away from it because it might hurt you. Does that make sense? This is basic knowledge. All right. Well, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe. Share it with your friends. Until we meet again, may the Lord richly bless you. Have a great day.